My parents were really into music, but they were quite poor as well. And so I think my mum was 19 when she had me. My dad was 20, so we lived in a small terraced house in Goole. And first memories, they had 3 albums in the house. They had Abbey Road by the Beatles.
Nice. Good start.
They had Motown Chartbusters Volume 3.
Volume
so
3.
I heard it through the grapevine.
Oh, brilliant! Yes.
Tracks of My Tears.
Oh, nice.
You know, there's
Is this
Dancing
like on
in the
vinyl?
Streets,
Did you say?
vinyl, all
Nice.
vinyl. So classic albums, and then they had a weird like left field one, Jose Feliciano. Have you heard of him?
Ooh.
I've heard the name, but I don't know.
He's like a Puerto Rican acoustic guitarist, and he's blind.
Okay.
And in the 60s, he made his career on doing covers of like hits of the time. So he did Light My Fire by the Doors. So he did a version of that, which was on this album.
That's what I think I know him from. Yeah.
And he did a Stones number as well. I don't know if it was Satisfaction, I think it was. But he had this, you know, sort of Spanish accent singing these songs. But earliest memories of those sort of 3 albums. And I'd only been like 4 or 5 at the time, but I always remember saying to my mum and dad, you know, play, you know, can we have some music on, you know? And they were just on repeat all the time. They're my earliest memories.
Nice,
So,
that's great.
It's funny how many people have said like their parents got them into it, but the replaying of songs over and over again, because everyone seems to like do that, like have this, like, you know, get some song over and over and over.
Yeah.
Which you were limited by your 3, but I said in a previous podcast that my mum had like a Don McLean LP.
Yes.
I must have listened to American Pie. It was a great
Yeah.
hit. I mean, I must have listened to it like about 1 billion times in a row. Just up, back,
Yeah,
up, back.
great song. And yeah, and I just remember, you know, and I can even sort of remember the sort of feeling that the music gave me, even at that young age. You know, it's like I just felt
You
so
kind of like
good,
watch
you know,
that, and then obviously
and
there's so much going
just
on
the
as well.
pleasure I got from music, you know, from a really young age. So that was my sort of introduction to music. And then I got into like I think the first single that I bought with my pocket money was "You're the One That I Want." John Travolta, Olivia Newton-John from
Wow,
Greece.
Nice.
what was that?
That was 78, was it? 78,
late,
I think.
that late?
Yes, it was about 78. So the Greece thing, and I remember going to Woolworths with my pocket money and buying that.
Woolworths,
That
nice.
was my first, and so it was, and then it became a bit of a ritual. Whenever I got enough money for a single, I'd go uptown with my mum, and I think the second
Vinyl again, like
vinyl,
those
all
7-inch
vinyl,
singles,
7-inch
nice.
singles.
Have you still got these, yeah?
Yeah, I've still got them all.
Nice.
Nice.
The second one I bought was "So Lonely" by the Police.
Oh, yeah.
So lonely. So lonely.
I love the
I was looking for "Walking on the Moon" because I loved that
That's
song.
great. I love that.
But they'd sold out of that, and "So Lonely" must have been the new single, so I got that.
You don't realise how early the Police were, like late, they late 70s, weren't they?
Late 70s, yeah.
Because I had a best of the Police album when I I must have been shopping in HMV and it was on sale or whatever for a couple of quid.
Yeah.
That was one of the best he's ever bought because it was like a greatest hit. So I remember that. I was just like, they're so goddamn good.
Yeah, they
It's
were
a
a great band. And then I got Adam and the Ants. I got into them. So Ant Music and Kings of the Wild Frontier. But the first album I bought, again vinyl album, was All Mod Cons by the Jam. And they were the first band that I really sort of obsessed about. Was the Jam, and the first band I ever saw actually. It was I was 13. I saw them at Bridge Spa.
Oh, wow.
But it was their farewell tour, and so that was my first ever gig. Mum and Dad dropped me and my mate off. He'd actually broke his collarbone the week before the gig, and he was devastated because he thought his mum and dad wouldn't let him go. He managed to persuade him to let him go, so his arm was in a sling. I insisted on going down the front, so we were literally at the front, you know, looking up at.
At a Jam concert with a broken collarbone.
And you can imagine what it was like, and he was like, it's good, isn't it? You know, against the barrier. But he was in agony, you know.
What year was that?
I was 82.
82.
It was the
Jeez.
6th of December 1982.
I wasn't born yet.
Remember the exact date.
Showing my age now. But,
It's my mum's birthday as well.
And they split up about 3 days later. And that was it.
No way.
Yeah.
Just
caught them. So that was my first
They good?
ever gig.
Or they?
Yeah.
What a great gig to go. That's your first gig.
They were great. And I was one of